Today we're talking about DIY or not. Do it yourself or not. It's springtime and we're all looking to really take advantage of our homes inside and out. And you might have a repair or renovation, a replacement, or a refresh that you have in mind. So do you do it yourself? And there are 4 questions that we came up with that we feel are the best questions to ask to determine whether you DIY or not. And the first one is, who are you? And if you answer, I'm a licensed plumber, DIY for your bathroom's probably a pretty good idea. Mm-hmm. And who do you know? That's another question, is if you know someone, if your father, if your friend, if your buddy can come over and, has done this before, then DIY might be a good idea. The second question is, what is the cost estimate for the project? And we sort of drew a line at $5,000, saying if it's less than $5,000, considering a DIY makes sense, at least considering it. And nothing is inexpensive today. Every DIY project, right, Greg?
Yep.
Is $1,000 or more. Nothing's under $1,000.
Exactly. And that leads us to the third question is, in terms of the cost, is do you have the tools to do the job? Painting is a simple example where paintbrushes, rollers, or even a paint sprayer, they're all pretty inexpensive to use. And they could be a really good way for you to invest in your house, invest in the right tools in order to do the project DIY. But if you're looking to unclog a drain, it can be as simple as buying a $100 drain unclogger or a $500 pneumatic one. And so that's when it starts thinking, do you have the right tools to do the job? And what's the cost to actually get those tools? And do you even know how to use the tools that you are getting? Is the final question. And the final question, what you should ask yourself when you're thinking of doing a DIY project this coming spring is, how long is it going to take? And do you have a timeline that you need the project to be done by? If you're looking to do a pool for the summer, then obviously a DIY pool is probably not going to be your best bet, nor should it probably be anyway. But, there's always if you have a timeline in mind that you need to meet, doing it DIY is going to take not only a lot of your own personal time, but you might not have the time in your schedule to even handle doing the project. So it might be better just to hire somebody whose full-time job it is to do what you're asking them to do.
For example, I have friends coming to visit and I have a small project in order for them to stay with me, and I have a deadline I need it done by. I'm not doing DIY because my time is better spent doing other stuff. Just want to do a little refresh in that bedroom.
Exactly.
That's just an example. So if you don't know anyone and you answer the question, I'm not the right one to do the job, then you know who to call. You call us. We have a long list of people that we rely upon many times personally as well as our clients, and you can depend on them too to do the job outside of DIY.
Exactly. And we're also able to give you a little bit of advice on whether we feel that it's a DIY worthy project. So reach out to us before you start doing any of your spring projects. We'd love to hear not only what you're planning on doing, but how we might be able to help.